And here we go with the last segment of the night. The future of tabletop RPGs. Predictions for the future. Yes, we're starting with Patty. What are your predictions for the next major evolution in TTRPGs?
I'd love him or hate him. Steven Deinhardt from Wonderfield Games that did Giant Lands was talking about doing augmented reality theme parks. I think that idea could be really cool. Harkening back to the days of Vampire the Masquerade LARP. If we wanted to take it in a direction that it hasn't been before, that could be really cool. But I feel like my normalcy bias is going to mean that we're going to see a lot of the same thing that we see now. There's going to be, with the added benefit of now witch hunting AI written products. I don't know if I can necessarily say I know when something is AI written when I see it, but it definitely reads like somebody in the army wrote it as a memo with a lot more self-referencing. yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's not even bottom line up front. It's self-referencing, fits 5-paragraph style. Yep. And so we're gonna see that a lot. And I've been mentally preparing for that conversation because even as an artist, I'm an artist. There's an AI program. I mean, case in point, I can go to this real quick and let's see if it plays. So on my screen, you can see this is me working on a map for Horde Wars Advanced, right?
I see a bunch of dongs in there. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, a bunch of dongs. But you can see me like filling in the color specifically. There's an AI program now that recreates an artist's time lapse. So there's people that are going out of their way to leverage AI in order to fool people into thinking that something is made by human hands. There's going to be a huge witch hunt for that. And people are either just going to accept AI drivel or AI might become really, really good. Time is going to tell on that. I certainly don't think that it's impossible for AI to be really good, but it does kind of make me sad.
So how do you envision the balance between physical and digital elements in future games? Because you kind of touched on that a little bit, but I mean, do you think that there could be a meaningful balance where, you know what, a little bit of digital is good, a little bit of physical is good?
The space in my house, I really like having my PDFs because I don't like clutter. I do like physical books more because they're easier to reference and pass around to people. But I like to go back to the idea of being able to use like procedurally generated dungeons or the random table rolls. That's extremely convenient, and it doesn't get in the way of how you decide to run the rules or your understanding of the rules. I do think it is going to get particularly weird, especially for people like Timothy, where they're going to have to compete with AI DMs.
I had to say hello to Fortune Brush. GM Fritz, there we go. We talked about him earlier. That's why he showed up. All right, let's move down to Timothy Farrelly here, asking you the same question. What are your predictions for the next major evolution in tabletop RPGs?
I think VTTs and 3D printing still has a lot of leg left in them to go. There's going to be a lot of improvement in those two fields. VR, that's a tough nut to get through. We'll get there eventually. AI, I would love to see like an AI assistant start to get developed. I think that's a great idea. Something that can be note taking, a reminder system, things like that. I think that would be phenomenal. VTT, 3D prints, and with any luck, AI gets better. Companies are working on AI, so it'll get there.
All right, let's move on over to Malachi then. Sir, what are your predictions for the next major evolution in tabletop RPGs?
I think we're going to have to wait and see what happens with after all the new core books.
No, you're prognosticating now, sir. You are an oracle, a seer, and a prophet. You will tell us what is coming. Read those tarot cards and give us the answer.
Well, with where WotC is headed right now, with a lot of the people criticizing the art, criticizing mechanics, the copyright strikes against videos on the showing off the player's handbook, people having to that are trying to that are blurring out pages when they do it. Apparently, somebody took a video and made a PDF out of all taking images from it for the new player's handbook. I think
That's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah, but somebody did. I went looking for it because I had to see this to believe it, and apparently it's already gone.
Oh, wow.
I think WotC's gonna slip. There's the AI issues they're having. They don't want AI art, but they want to incorporate AI into the writing, into dungeon mastering. What was the other thing? Shit. Oh, the fact that according to what's been leaked from meetings at Wizards of the Coast, the new head of D&D wants it to be a pay-to-play game, like some of the newer video games are.
Suckers.
He flat out said that. Now, granted, this is a leak from somebody at WotC. Could be true, but it could be. I think WotC's gonna slip, and somebody's gonna have the chance to really gobble up some of the marketplace. But at the same time, people I think would go to 6E are gonna stay with 5E. I don't even think Tales of the Valiant could really grab a hold. And then you look at, well, people stick with 5E. Well, they can go to the DM's Guild and still get stuff, but they're like,
but what does this have? What does it have to do with major evolution? Into what is the new? When's the meteor going to hit, and what is going to be on it?
Oh, I think it's gonna be a flat. Everybody's gonna be on an even footing.
Okay.
I really think that you're not going to see somebody like you'll probably still have D&D at number 1, but I think the number 2s, there's going to be a lot more number 2s. That's going to be Call of Cthulhu. Everybody's going to get a little bit of lift up because the people that leave D&D are going to go to something else, and it's going to be a bunch of different things. It's not going to be one thing. Like when 4E came out, everybody just went to Pathfinder. You really don't have that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do my best John McLaughlin impression right now and just say, wrong!
Okay.
The next evolution is going to be a devolution, and people are, and I don't mean the OSR necessarily, but people are going to look back in time and find out what made games like people mentioned Paranoia, Alternity, Dungeons and Dragons, MERP. They're going to look at those games. That's going to be, because we're talking major evolution. They're going to come full circle, and they're going to start looking at those old games and what made those fun.
That could be.
And that's when you all three, John McLaughlin, me. Oh, got a super chat. It's $20, so I got to read it now. WotC will slowly fade in obscurity, and Palladium will reign supreme over the earth.
Yes. Yes. Oh, hail Palladium.
We can always hope.
I'm a little bit concerned about one thing with Palladium. Wait.
Well, hurry up and say it so we can move on to the next question. What is that concern? You can't tease us like that. Then.
Yeah.
Their new stuff is not up on Alliance, the biggest distributor of role-playing games. Oh. Like all these reprints of the Rifter aren't up there. The new Yin Sloth Jungles isn't up there.
I ordered from them directly.
That sounds too in the weeds for my taste, but then again, I wasn't a comic book guy and didn't care what Diamond had to say. So,
no, this is Alliance, not Diamond.
Oh my God! Did you hear what I said?
Nope.
Right. Let's move on to the last question here, Patty. Again, we're going to start with you. And I'll give you your follow up. Also, do me a favor, shout yourself out one more time. While, during, before, after, however you want to do it, answering this. And then once you answer the question, the follow-up, you can stay as long as you want, but head out when you need to, okay?
Okay. So, yeah, I'm just waiting for my wife to text me, so that's what I'm... all right, question away.
Not a problem. So, the final question of the night, and by the way, Timothy and Malachi, we can go back to the previous question. I just want to make sure Patty gets a chance to answer everything. Describe a potential challenge the TTRPG industry might face in the future and how it can be addressed. I think we see some of it brewing right now, personally.
Yeah. I'm just going to loop back to what I said earlier. You're going to play with people that have never held dice in their hands, that they don't know how to meet at a physical location. I wonder if you're going to see more, you're going to see Uber DM, so to speak, with the gig economy. And then you're going to, and then you're going to have to deal with the social economics of DMing the way that you want to, or playing the way that you want to. And you can see that with services like all the RPGs or RPG Match, or even Roll20 when D&D Beyond comes around. You're going to get the hurdle that, if you want to play in a store, WotC is probably going to have some official rules that if the store wants to enjoy the benefits of getting WotC at wholesale prices, they're going to have to enforce.
So that's kind of like, doesn't Games Workshop do something similar?
Well, Games Workshop does have the stocking requirements. If you want to stock and get certain Games Workshop products,
okay,
so much percentage of your shelf space has to be Warhammer products. But I do foresee that, because it's a way of undercutting the people who don't want to play the subscription model game and want to play physically in store. It's a way to try to keep them under the thumb. And then again, going back to the caliber of player that you're getting, you're not going to get people who grew up reading books. You're going to get people who grew up watching TikToks and watching memes of Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games. So they
teach
don't
your kids
have,
to read, folks.
Yeah.
Teach your kids to read.
They don't have a cultural foundation that they can stand on. So finding a player that's of a caliber that you want to game with physically is going to be harder. Online, if you want to find players, you're either going to have to do so through Discord, or you're going to have to do stuff like RPG Match, for which I got into a debate with around this time last year, because it'll be, if you want to play, you're going to have to list certain things on your profile, like what your preferred friction is and what your preferred pronouns are, and so on and so forth, in order to even find players. And if you don't answer those questions, your request for players or your request to get into a game is going to be delisted on the algorithm, and so to speak.
My preferred pronouns are comma, comma, pipe, comma. And every programmer knows what I just said. Yeah, you just made my brain hurt, but I think you're onto something there, and that's scary. Since you are creating your own, how do you foresee the role of indie games evolving compared to major publishers? Do you think there's like a separate road they can go down, or do you think they need to merge, or do you need to think they kind of have to parallel each other?
You have to parallel. So like I said earlier, I'm a try hard when it comes to the parallel economy and alternative platforms. You can find me on Rumble at Patty's Parlor Games. I'm actually doing a giveaway for this shirt right here. If you want to win that shirt, you gotta follow me on Rumble, and you can Rumble rant to me for extra entries and comment for extra entries, or be a monthly subscriber. But that's what I'm trying to do. I'm running on a parallel line on Rumble, and I've rated your channel during your Sunday streams a couple of times. And
thank you very much for that.
I do the best I can to support the people that choose those platforms, because it is rough. I don't stream to YouTube. I stream specifically to Rumble, and I'm trying to pick up X as well. So that way, again, creators that are there will have a coalition that they can stand on each other's shoulders if they need to for a little bit. Same thing with Giant Slayer games. There's a lot of people who don't want to publish the Giant Slayer games, and I don't blame them, because when you publish through DriveThru RPG, there's a 30% cut that DriveThru takes. If you publish to DriveThru as well as other sites, they take 35%. And that 5% doesn't mean much to a guy like me, because I'm not paying my bills with my books, but other people are. 5% to other people is thousands of dollars. So the best thing that I can do, seeing as I can support myself without the sale of my books, is to help build Giant Slayer games, support the creators that are there, review those products, and get those in front of people. So that way, as that site grows, people who need a different place to go will have one. They won't have to start from the ground up.
Okay. Well, I have to interrupt you now.
Yep.
For $30 Canadian. Bear, the Gen X GM says, heroic is the future. All will play. All will play heroic. He might not be wrong. It's getting crazy amounts of positive reviews from people who have played it. He's suffering some setbacks right now internally, but he's fighting through them. And when this game gets published, anybody who even has an inkling of liking, and this goes back to what I was saying. This game is heavily based on the Marvel superheroes game, Face Rip. What's old is what's new. And I really do believe that people are going to take old concepts, modernize them, enhance them, and make them better. And Bear is doing that with a heroic game. Thank you for the $30 Canadian. Was that like 15 cents?
Look at the TMNT Kickstarter for Palladium, how successful that was.
Yeah. Sorry, Patty, I have to, when it's $20 or more, I have to jump in.
And you have a really great point. Like this game, Necromolds, like its whole selling point was bringing us back to the commercialism of the 90s and getting your hands in the Play-Dohs, and like the campiness of the commercial brought us right back to like the my disgusting lab. They're necromolds. You mold them, smash them, recast them. Like that's exactly how the commercial sounds. And it's very fun. Shadow Dark did the same thing. It took all of the flavor of high fatality heroic fantasy that we grew up with, and then made it relatable to a modern audience without being totally cringe. And that's a feat in itself. I think that's the path that indie people go down. So that I would like to see that more. And we could bitch all we want about the current way things are going, but unless we go out of the way and start talking about what is good. Do not be overcome by evil. Overcome evil with good.
Take the time to learn to write. I mean, to make your own thing. It's going to take you time. I know some people whip out games. I mean, but Total Party Skills whips out a game like every month. The wretched folks, they whip out a game every month. Some people can do that. I'm not. Sometimes I have a question about quality on some of the stuff. I'm not going to mention names, not necessarily those two. But for me, I'm on the opposite end. My games can be like 4,600 pages long, so it's going to take me forever to get it out. But you got to learn to write. But if you're really angry, you really don't like how something is, make your own crap. Work with friends. Write down your notes. All those house rules that you have for your game. To me, this is what most of the OSR is. Most of the OSR is just somebody's D&D house rules. Mm-hmm. That they've decided to publish. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that's, find a way to publish the stuff that you want different.
I wish I had my printed copy, and one of my kids must have taken off with it. But I publish my books start to finish. I have an editor that I keep in my basement that doesn't exist, chained to a wall. His name is Sonicus Maximus. Mutants, my game Mutants, was built from the ground up, basically using the spam of all the other systems that I've attempted to write that didn't work. So I saved all of those rules and put them into one game that was actually was actually pretty good. You can find it on Drive-Thru RPG. It's I think right now it's 4.5 stars. It was 5 stars a couple of days ago, but you can pick it up for $1.50. And I have gotten some really good feedback on it, but I haven't seen any pictures of anyone playing yet.
It's funny you showed me that book, because that reminded me, on my Discord we've got Paradox Games on there, and he writes a game called Radical High.
Yeah,
and he does it basically on construction paper and looking like it came out of a typewriter, because the concept is a 1980s game, and he does a fantastic job of making it look like a high school, I wouldn't call it yearbook thing, but like a high school project written. In that form. Does an absolutely amazing job of that. It's not my style of game, but I suggest it for people.
That's got all of my notes in it, and then a bunch of kids that have like drawn in it and such. But these are all all pages of rules and ideas and drawings that I've done. Yeah, and especially keep it down physically, because you never know if your file's going to corrupt. So
Yeah.
and
All right,
I'm
Timothy.
here.
Oops,
Like
sorry.
if you've got an idea for a book and you need someone to bounce it off of, I'm here. You got the Basic Experts Gilded.
Mhm.
There's some wonderful personalities in there. There's a lot of creating that's happening in there. So
Yep.
it doesn't take much. I used the most expensive thing that I used to make this book was Procreate, which was a $20 iPad app that I do all of my art on, and it's paid for itself now. But I used Apple Pages, which is a free layout / word processing program you can get on your Mac.
Hippie
and
Mac user.
Yeah, I know. And you could publish it. You could publish it to iBookshelf right from there. So you don't even have to leave that device. I write on my phone into the cloud, and then when I get home, I can tidy things up on my laptop or on my iPad, and it can be done.
All right, let's move on to Timothy Farrelly. Main question again is describe a potential challenge the TTRPG industry might face in the future and how it can be addressed.
It's going to be greed in politics. And we're seeing it. There's no might. WotC is the poster child for this problem. They are greedy for the money. They're making all these changes solely for the money. They want to nickel and dime you for every little bit. You look at their book, $5. I mean, they're taking it to an extreme. And when the politics is coming about, when they're making the changes to a product that you have purchased, and after the fact they're saying, oh no, because of this now orcs represent this or whatnot, and they're making changes to a product that you purchased, that therefore changing how you interact with it. And
Would you say that the challenge from that comes from people no longer wanting to buy that crap and just saying, you can make your little niche nonsense even though the 800-pound gorilla, nobody's going to pay for it anymore?
No, the challenge of that was the blue hairs infiltrating and getting the position of power and authority. So the solution to that, again, I think I might have misunderstood what you're saying, but the solution to that is just tell them to pound sand. Just walk away from it, and come to Palladium Books or go to Heroic or Twilight 2000 or wherever.
Savage Worlds.
Savage Worlds. Go to Savage Worlds.
What since you're touching on some of this monetization stuff, what do you think will be the future of monetization models such as subscription services, or moving on to crowdfunding, or everything as a service that WotC wants to go? Do you think that, how do I say this? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but whether WotC's successful or WotC's not successful, do you think others are going to try that as well?
Well, there'll be a couple of people, yeah. I mean, you every industry, no matter what, follows the biggest, whatever the 800-pound gorilla is. That's what they do. I mean, that's the nature of these industries. There's the cell phone providers, same thing. Hospitals, the same thing. Banks, the same thing. Somebody, at least one or two companies, we might see it with Paisan. I would hate for that. I'm not a Paisan fan. I don't care about their products, but I would hate for them to try to go in those microtransaction style.
Okay. Malachi, on to you now. Describe a potential challenge the TTRPG industry might face in the future and how it could be addressed.
I'm seeing a preservation of the created works. For example,
That's a challenge?
Yeah, preserving these things. We're going to use WotC as an example in this. They released an adventure on free on D&D Beyond right before the the Spelljammer box set came out.
Mm-hmm.
Once that Spelljammer box set came out, the adventure disappeared. And the only way you could get it is if you went hunting on Reddit for it. because somebody took the time to make a PDF of it. There are books from the 80s that have been preserved digitally that once they go up, they get a copyright strike. They have to get pulled down. But there is no way to get them digitally legally. I am concerned that as time goes on, some of this stuff is, these businesses maybe they go under, maybe, for whatever reason, the stuff gets lost and it's not preserved at all. And we're not going to have this for the future. I mean, they're
underground print at home zines are the future. You can print it as many times as you want and distribute it to your friends like the Underground Revolution.
I tried making a zine. I don't have the time for it. I would love to. I'd love to make a zine, and I just my time is taken up by everything else. I cannot add that in.
Yeah, I really think that I'm going to tell you, if you want to make something, make a product for a system, your best bet is just to make a zine real quick and start learning that way.
Yep.
Don't go all in, go hog wild in making a setting book. Make a zine. Get your feet wet. Take what you already created and then continue that zine and build upon what has come before.
So Malachi, then what new genres or themes do you think will become prominent in TTRPGs over the next decade?
I'm thinking, you mentioned Paizo, Timothy. I had just heard somebody tried out the new Starfinder. He's liking it. He thinks they're doing better than with the new Pathfinder, and it's better than the old one. Maybe, hopefully, we can see a renaissance in the sci-fi genre. I like sci-fi over fantasy any day of the week.
Bring back Alternity. I mean, the real Alternity, not the new one.
That's a perfect example. You cannot go and purchase an Alternity PDF, the original.
Yeah.
None of them. WotC had them back when they had their own website, but once they went to drive-through, it's gone. I would buy a whole bunch of print on demand for Alternity if they made that available.
Full Metal Dragon speaks the truth. All right, let's is there anything that you guys wanted to address from the first question, especially since Patty's still here? And I know we kind of rushed through it in terms of, I'll ask the question again. I can even hit the follow-ups if you want. But, what are your predictions for the next major evolution TTRPGs, or this concept here of describe a potential challenge TTRPG industry that has come up that anybody said or whatever? This is the time we're actually supposed to do the crosstalk with each other. Is there anything that you guys want to talk to each other about when it comes to this?
I want to piggyback off something that Patty mentioned when you were saying about, WotC forcing things onto gaming stores for D&D. They already kind of do that, but in a different way. If my FLGS, my gaming store, wants to get stuff to help him run D&D at his store, he has to sell so much Magic cards.
Yep, every time.
Yeah.
And then they won't let you sell Magic cards if you don't do Friday Night Magic with their social rules.
Well, guess what? My store doesn't.
Shh, don't say that out loud. They're going to hunt you down. Pinkertons are coming after Malachi.
Magic Gathering Fight Club is.
Yeah. I got 2 notes that I wrote down here. Nope, I have 1 note written down here. This is to Patty. If I were starting a channel today, if I was starting this just from scratch today, I 100% would use Rumble. Mm-hmm. And I know I don't know if he's still watching, but I know Violence Solves Everything. He really hates the fact that, we're still doing YouTube, but that's where I built up the audience. Yeah. It's just like the same reason why I'm on Discord and not Guilded. That's where I built up the audience. I can't get them off of it. And I'm not just going to abandon, sorry guys, I'm out. You're going to go over here. I know there's some people who've done that. If I was either much smaller or crazy larger, I would maybe think about that. But unfortunately, I'm stuck here. But I do co-stream to Rumble. But I do suggest that if people are starting out now, yes, Start filling up that Rumble space. Do good work over there, but fill up that Rumble space. Get more folks over there on Rumble.
Yeah, I need to make a channel over there.
Yeah, and I still get it. I get it frequently where people are asking me like, "Isn't Rumble only for politics?" I'm like, "Well, they built their platform on there because those were the people that needed to. That was the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria people. You know what I mean? Going to Rumble. But I paint miniatures and I draw. And sooner or later I'll be doing like terrain making, and I'll be playing tabletop war games as a live stream there. There's people playing games. There's people that are sewing. There's a lady named Phoenix Electra. If you want to watch somebody sew or crosshatch or whatever, you can find that there. I'm really fortunate because I decided to not be an internet personality until Rumble was like where it was a year ago. And man, has it hit strides. I forget
that there's one thing that is still missing that I have to have, and that's the playlist concept. It is not. I don't have access to them if there are, because I've unless it's like brand new. It always tries to make me make a new channel. Like, nope.
There's playlists. I don't know much about it because I don't play around with them. But after talking with you earlier, I need to get onto that. I need to make playlists of mini painting versus art streams versus just hanging out in chat streams. But yes, playlists are a feature on Rumble, and you can even pin playlists to the top of your profile.
Well, I will try to take a look at that again. It has been a little while since I've looked at it, but they've absolutely fixed a couple of things I had problems with, like as in, can you please show me my paying members? I have paying members, but I couldn't see the list. It took them forever to. Well, I shouldn't say forever. I'm not angry with them, but finally they got that done. I'm like, yes, now I can add those to the giveaway if we have a giveaway. So anyway. But my point is not that I'm mad at them, is that they are improving. It is a new platform. It's got growing pains, but it is improving. So I think people should check it out. So anything else on the future of tabletop RPGs? Otherwise, we're gonna wrap this up, read a couple of chats, and then head on out into segment 5.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I got 10 minutes. So
okay. Oh, we'll be done. We'll be done in 10 minutes, barring long discussion on chat here. So before we go into the super chats, I'm actually going to have each of the panelists remind us who they are, what they create, and where you can find them on the internet. We're going to start with Malachi. We're going to go backward. Ooh. So who are you? What do you create? And where can people find you on the internet?
Malachi, I've got my Substack. Max should have the link down below.
I don't. I have your YouTube channel. Okay.
Well, if you want to see the Bears game, I do. It's there.
Put it in private chat, and I can put it in there.
Yeah, I was going to. But yeah, I'm doing that right now. My blog right now is saying I really want to get back into talking about Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland. I just picked up one of the new books. It's all classes. Oh my God, such cool stuff in there. Like I said, my love of sci-fi. This really hits home with my love of sci-fi.
Okay. Timothy Ferrelli, once again, who are you? What do you create? And where can we find you?
My name is Timothy Ferrelli, and I am the host for Characters of the Dice, where I remake characters so you don't have to. YouTube channel, just to make it in Palladium fantasy characters right now, and eventually we'll broaden out to other genres.
Okay. And of course, Patty, I know you kind of already shouted out your Rumble channel, but let's do this for consistency's sake real quickly. Your channel again, and what do you create? And I forget. Yeah, who are you? I'm doing this all backward now.
Who are you? What do you know? Do you know things? Yes, my name is Patty. Patty. My friends call me Patty. I'm Patty O'Cakes. You can find me on Twitter at Patty O'Cakes. There you can see my endless stream of thoughts. Also, you can find me at Rumble at Patty's Parlor Games. I post on my Twitter all the time that I stream on Thursday evening at around 8:30 Pacific, and then Sunday morning at about 10 o'clock in the morning. So usually like right before you guys start, I'm kind of going. Max, I create TTRPG adventures specifically for like Chalt and Wretched, but I'm going to be expanding that soon. And I also create tabletop skirmish games. You can find those at DriveThruRPG if you just search Patty's Parlor Games, or at GiantSlayerGames.com. You can find my books there as well.
Nice. That's how you do the ad. That was like probably the best I don't call it advertisement, but yeah, self-promotion that I've heard to date. Good job. All right, let's read these super chats, and then we'll head on out. So what did we have here? I already read that one. Okay. So Bob Vecna, I started this one because I think he and I kind of agree on this. I think we'll see the pendulum swing the other way and get way more hand-drawn, old-style layout sorts of products. Kind of nostalgia berry type stuff is the way I feel. What do you guys think?
I'll tell you what, I love the line art like we said back in the day with with first edition. And man, what's his name? James B. West. He does the zine, The Black Pudding. Oh, his art is so freaking cool, so evocative, and really, really grabs your attention. And I'm hoping we see more of that. I think with a lot of the art like WotC has, I don't find it very evocative. Just bleh.
Okay. Am I misrecalling that the new lead for WotC said he wants D&D to be more of a live service? Anyone?
I actually answered him in chat. Yes,
Okay.
it was. You have to. I had to go hunting for it. I don't remember the channel name, but Ben Riggs. He's the author of Slaying the Dragon. I heard an interview with him. He did a lot of research into the fall of TSR and when WotC bought it. He heard the rumor from somebody that works at WotC. The new head of D&D wants the live service.
Okay. Law Dog for $9.99 says we must have the courage to build games that can be unburdened by games that have been.
Bad Law Dog. Bad.
Oh my god.
But if you look who's doing that. Patty, you said you're making your own. Horde Wars is its own thing. I think people can find a niche in here doing that. Promotion might be a bit of a problem. Might be difficult for some folks. You know, a lot of gamers. I mean, this was it. I might have this backwards, but like Gygax was bad at game design, but great at promotion. It was like Arneson that did most of it or something. I forget. Maybe I might have that backward. I forget. I just don't care. But you know, a lot of designers might not be great at self-promotion. A lot of people who are good at self-promotion might not be good at designing. Hey, chocolate, here's peanut butter, here's chocolate. Let's mash that crap together, make ourselves some Reese's, best candy ever made, and make this stuff happen for people. Like I was it that Palladium says, rising tide raises all ships or some nonsense. Yeah, some nonsense like that. Some hippy dippy crap. No, but I mean, even Palladium shouted out heroic for Bear as an example. So,
I see Kelsey over at Shadow Dark being like that. She really likes to promote people that make stuff for Shadow Dark. Like, she gave a shout out to Chuck Oyster. She's given big shout outs before. Yeah, I think that's a good thing that we got that going on right now.
Yeah, and you gotta. Luck and fortune helps those who helps themselves too. To kind of show off again, I made my first book with a simple $20 purchase that anybody can make $20 somehow, some way, and then that $20 purchase allowed me to sell a book and then buy a better camera. And I had a friend that gave me a mic, and now I've been able to sell enough books that I can get the Twitter monthly subscription, which will help me be able to advertise myself some more. And they're not a book I don't publish where I don't give shout outs to the friends at the back. So I mean, this is an old book, so it's got old books on it, but I always try to give nods like, hey, if you like this, you're gonna like Epic, or you're gonna like something else, or what it has to be germane to the topic. Like Mutants is going to have stuff for Atomic Punk. Mutants going to have stuff for this, versus the boy from Estejas is going to have...
TDE's rewriting Atomic Punk, right?
That is correct.
Yes.
He's gonna...
Okay, that's why I was waiting to get it, because I wanted to get the original, but he said he's rewriting it. Well, I'll just wait till the rewrite's done then.
Yeah, he did do a change with the second edition of it. But,
is it still 2D10?
I believe so.
It got changed to two.
Oh, okay,
2D10.
Good. That's what I'm looking for. Okay.
Yeah, that's what the current one is, but this new one's like full color and a lot more art. So just wait for the new book.
All right.
Yeah, and then with that being said, I would say just be fluid and be forgiving, because there's a lot of people who are not forgiving enough. And then you could tie your knot to a boat that sails so far away from you, and you're like, oh my God, what have I done? Just be malleable, be forgiving, and don't take a lot of stuff personal. There's a lot of stuff where it's just like, oh, dude, I was just making like a small jab at you, but now you've made it your entire personality. Calm down. So, yeah.
we know people like that.
Yeah, I was getting made fun of because I drink kombucha earlier, and I was just like, my wife makes it and it tastes good, so I don't know.
Well, I had my vodka days, my whiskey days, and so forth, but then I don't know why, but I transitioned to Kahlua and be like, oh my God, that's a girly drink. Well, guess what? You're not going to be drinking it. I am. I'm okay with it, Crafty Matt says the hobby is about to face a mainstream collapse.
Maybe.
I hope so. I hate to say that. I hope so. That's. I just feel weird saying that, but I really do. I really hope so.
I think it is, definitely.
And then finally, the last one we'll talk about here, and then we'll end the show. Crafty says, giveaway? We're just short, sir. We are still short of the giveaway. But that would be in segment 5 anyway, which we have 7 minutes for. I normally have a half hour or more for it, but long show today. But here's the thing. If somebody wants to complain that I let people talk too much, the conversation was just too good. And people in chat were commenting on it. People wanted to hear about this. So I'm not going to make any apologies for this show going on long, other than Patty, sorry, you got rushed there.
No,
didn't mean to do that. But I thought that the conversation was absolutely fantastic. So no apologies here other than to say, I hope you all enjoyed it, which is great. Now,
I love it.
This Sunday, I'm happy you're here. By the way, first of all, thank you to all the guests. Thank you for Malachi for being on again. Thank you for Timothy for coming back and giving us a dive into his world and what people say in his house. And then Patty's partly, honestly, you're welcome on whenever you want to come on. I know that life is busy, but I really appreciated having you on tonight. It was great to talk to you again as well. So thank you for being here. Legion of Myth this weekend on Sunday. We're going to continue on Twilight 2000, where I'm going to start into the actual combat section of the game. I made some changes to how I am going to do the rest of the Twilight 2000 series. It's actually going to be a couple weeks longer now, but this is to prevent having 2-hour-long videos on certain topics. So we're just going to make more videos, which means a couple more weeks have been added to it. And I will talk about that on Sunday. And Heathen Dog is finally going to cover Rift's Thundercloud. Wait, is Rift's Thundercloud Galaxy this week? No, it's the Rifter number 7. I have the wrong note in here. It's the Rifter number 7. I'm like, he did Thundercloud Galaxy. It's the Rifter number 7. And he's going to dive into some Dragon Hunters and some Skelebots.
All right.
So that sounds fun. One's for Palladium Fantasy, one's for Rift. So look forward to that this Sunday. But I'm watching on video, and those videos posted 3 weeks ago. That is correct. Watch live next time. So next Friday on the Some Rando RPG live stream, we are going to have the future of tabletop RPGs. And that is today. Why did I not update
what are
these
you
notes?
doing?
Yeah, these notes have not been updated.
Future
It is going to be
old man.
I am I'm horrible. Am I reading right? No, it is going to be the business of tabletop RPGs, and it is going to include Sean Owen Robertson from Palladium Books. Hold on, I'll go tell you who it is. I actually got the real notes over here. How did I not update that? I'm anal about that stuff.
Vic?
Hold on, I'll get it right here. Schedule. Boom.
I'm trying to remember the other one.
Yep. All right. It is going to be. Where the hell? That's September. All right, it's going to be Sean Owen Robertson from Palladium Books, Victor Gorchev who makes the Scrying Dutchman. But I was trying to think of his OSR Modern Necessities, and then Wade D. I forget what he creates, but I know he's sponsored by Gaming with ADHD, so I'm giving him a chance. I forget the name. Some Empires. I forget the name. I should know. But anyway, they are all people who have published stuff, and they're going to be talking about the business side. So maybe if you want to learn something about how to get your stuff published, hey, look at how Patty segued into next week's topic. Come back next week, and that is what we're going to talk about. So we're going to have somebody more in the big time, if you want to call it that, with Sean Robertson from Palladium Books, and we're going to have Victor Gorchev, who produces supplements doesn't produce his own games, and then we're gonna have somebody who did produce his own game. So we're gonna have 3 different perspectives next week on talking about the business of tabletop RPGs. And with that, that whole time I did not have my subscribe thing up. So there we go. I appreciate these guys being here. I appreciate everybody being in chat. I appreciate the conversation. This was such a great episode tonight. I wish it could go on longer, but I'm getting tired. I'm sure the panelists are getting tired as well and have to go. Appreciate every one of you. The word appreciate is just going to come out. That's going to be a drinking game for the rest of the stream. But I look forward to talking to you next week, and I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Fragged Empire. There we go. I like Fragged Empire. That's the name of the game, Fragged Empire. So thank you very much. And Full Metal Dragon likes it.